Hello everyone, welcome to PRKD Media's coverage of the 2023 Disc Connection Queensland Open presented by Disc Doctor. We're here on day one for round one, front nine, and I've got Sarah Lee with me. How are you, Sarah?
Hey Ash, I'm good, thanks. Glad to be joining you tonight for the commentary.
We're very lucky to have you here, and the MPO field very lucky to have you for this tournament as well. We'll talk a bit more about that later, but we better take a look in Austin's bag first. So basically a museum. We've got a lot of Disc Mania in there. He's going to lean heavily on that DD3. Blake, a lot of Discraft. Those nukes are going to get a lot of work as well as the buzzers. Tell us about your bag, Sarah.
Yeah, I thought pretty mixed bag. Started filling it out with a bit more lat 64 kind of discs, but yeah, a bit all over the place. Yeah.
Well, look, I can relate to that if no one else can. And Paul Phillips, the fourth person on our card today, very streamlined bag. He's got the Berg iceberg there, and we're going to see a lot of different discs from Paul as we step up to hole one, 205 meters, 673 foot par four. It's a monster off the start. We've got OB right and left. We've actually got an OB amphitheater. You can see in that little wedge there on the right, and then a very tight approach to the green. Sarah, how did you approach this hole? What was your thought process coming up to it?
Yeah, well, off the tee, it was generally pretty windy, and watching previous cards, the wind direction just changed every time, so ideally just get it as far down and stay in bounds.
Yeah, that's not a bad theory as we see Austin step up with what I think's that DD3. And it looks like it's turned ahead
right over. Yeah, I think when we were playing, it was a head left to right wind, so throwing into that's pretty, a lot of people risk that OB on the right because the headwind's going to push it to the right, and then the left to right wind is just going to keep it carrying.
Right. That's Blake. Well, Blake's stepping up there. So he's obviously hoping for that reaction out of the wind.
Absolutely nails that.
Yeah, that's about exactly where you want to be, right up there on that ridge, isn't it?
Next on the tee out of Sydney,
yeah, he'll have a pretty straightforward upshot from there.
We have Sarah Lee.
Got Sarah Lee.
Yeah, so throwing my arrive on this one after seeing Austin's just turn straight over, opted for something a bit more stable.
It's the beauty of not throwing first, right?
Yeah.
So we just landed right in front of that.
Rounding out the card out of Graceful Queensland Open.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would land on that bit of that concrete strip, but landed on the green, so I'm all good.
Nice, Paul Phillips stepping up here with a Ballista Pro.
This is a Queensland local, so knows all the lines.
Right. Ooh, and that's
I think that one hit the pole of the amphitheater.
In the percussion, in the percussion section of the orchestra there in the amphitheater. But it'd be good. I'd never met or seen a lot out of Paul before. As Austin turns that over, he'll be lucky to stay in bounds there. I think he might be.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen much of Paul before. But man can throw a frisbee. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, I mean, this round was the first time I'd met him, so I was kind of going into it the same view. Awesome, but you'll see during this round what he can do. Don't want to spoil too much for you.
Bit of left to right out of that.
Yeah, so again, just held that turn with the wind and then landed OB.
Blake, is he vaping there, or was that just his chalk bag?
I was even old enough to do that.
Absolutely not. If Blake's mum is watching, Blake does not vape. It's just a joke. Blake hoping for that to settle, and I believe it does. I've got the
Yeah,
green
just
there.
stays in bounds.
Just flicking a nice one up there.
Wasn't look
Austin's
too
reaction
happy with
tells
it,
me
but I don't think I don't think he's too far down.
Yeah, he might have got a bit of roll, but with that basket up on that mound there, any little bit of roll just makes that putt, especially in this wind, just a little more touchy, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And even the practice days before, behind the hill you can see here, there was just a massive puddle. So even if you land in, you might be putting from, half a foot of water.
Blake putting that in for birdie.
It's a good birdie to get.
It
Good way to
really
start the
is.
comp. Alrighty, so hole 2 is a par 4, 168 meters. So this one, we're moving into the woods now. The tee shot's pretty tight. Got to hit the gap, just go straight would be the ideal landing zone, and then hopefully give yourself another straight look to the basket.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to hear that assessment of this hole. I sort of looked at it as, it's sort of two separate tunnels, and then you push up straight to that red tee and try and get around as far as you can, as best you can. But really, just
Yeah,
stay out in the open.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really just two 80-meter shots, but you can see there that it's pretty wooded, and you can go wrong pretty quickly with the OB water on the right, and there's also a Mando on the left-hand side as well that you've got to hit. I think that hit a tree, and it's actually rolling pretty close to that tee pad, which is where you want to be.
Yeah, it's a
We got pretty lucky on that one.
Pushed a bit right there, bit left, brother.
Yeah. So I threw my pathfinder on this one. Got a little bit of turn, so managed to hit the gap, but finished a bit to the right.
Paul stepping up, that looks like a reactor. Sliding beautifully.
Absolutely boosted it.
Wow,
Yep. So, during practice, I never actually hit the gap. So throwing the shot, I actually had no idea what to do. So it was a bit of just winging it a little bit.
You should have played the red tees in practice. Played from about the same spot as you. You got the basket round to the left there, just behind that clump of trees, and up on another mound, as you can see there. So Blake just trying to put it up there to give himself a putt. Ball from prime position there.
Yeah, you can't get a drive much better than that.
Just pushing past the basket.
Just outside the circle there.
Austin a long way down, it turns out.
Yeah, so they managed to make it past the Mando, giving him that left side look to the basket.
Blake gets a bit of a roll there, unfortunately.
Yeah, the wind doesn't really help. Bit of a downwind right to left, so pushing the disc down that hill. Paul doesn't even try to mess with that, just
Just floating up and saying, I'm having none of that, and Austin drills it in. Nice couple of putts from Austin first up to start the round.
Yeah.
Blake hitting that cage pretty hard. Making sure of it. moving on to hole 3, still in the woods here. So we've got a left to right, as you can see from the red and blue lines on this hole. It's wooded basically all the way to the green, with a huge clump of trees guarding the green there, right in front of it as the last gap to get out of. So a bit of it's a turnover for a right-hand backhand or a right-hand forehand. Left-handers, well, this is one left-handers want to hit, I'd say.
Yeah, nice lefty friendly hole.
I'm taking that DD3 again for a forehand.
Hits early left.
Yeah, hits early left and gives Reese disconnection there with the camera a bit of a scare, I think. Brave backhand line. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got a 100-meter forehand, so got to make do with what I've got.
Through the gap and a fair way down.
Yeah, I get most of the way down there.
Oh, looks like he's hit very early there. Wow. Blake's all the way
Awesome
through and
shot
onto
from
the green.
Blake.
And we get our first reverse parked of the day. Nice forehand. I believe he got out quite nicely there. Our catch cam must have missed it. Very aggressive, flips one over and slides it up to the edge of the circle nicely. Sarah's a long way down.
I can't complain with that. We're only having a backhand, so. See, another tough part with the water just behind the basket. I think Paul's just looking to lay up anyway.
Yeah, it does drop off surprisingly quick there. It doesn't really show it on camera. But yeah, it drops off surprisingly quick, almost inside the circle from memory. Riding that one up there, got to respect the run.
With another birdie.
Very handy birdie, yeah. And another reverse park. How's that?
Double reverse park.
2 shots on the same hole, getting a reverse park. I think that's a first for us.
Nice. Blakey making history.
Austin, just wondering what's going wrong there. Paul's putting in that bogey, and we're all going to tap out. So the wind, the wind playing a part early on, I'd say, Sarah.
Yeah, definitely is. Yep. So hole 4, par 3, 129 meters or 23 feet. So this one's a tricky one because there's the OB road all down the right-hand side. So you can risk the backhand going over the road, and there's a few trees, low-hanging branches you could hit, which could drop you out of bounds. So you might end up having to retake your tee quite early. And then the forehand line's pretty tricky. Just the shape of the line is not quite there for the forehand.
Yeah, it's certainly so that most players I played with and saw over the weekend took that backhand line down the road as Blake's doing here, and he hasn't quite come
Went
around
out
a bit early
wide,
enough.
and I think he does hit one of those tree branches out on the right, so never came back in. And I was worried I might have done the same, but I noodled it enough that it was short of those trees, and then let my disc hyzer out.
Not a bad thing on this hole.
Yeah.
We're just going straight down the road and coming in there beautifully. Just taking that straight line. He's not happy with it. Ooh, is that? So that's hit a tree halfway down.
Yeah.
The tree halfway down, skipped off the road and skipped in bounds.
I didn't even know if Austin saw that. He turned around just as soon as the disc hit that tree.
Well, hopefully he's watching the coverage and he gets to see that. Ball goes up nice and high and just plonks it into the circle there for a putt.
Pushing the OB. That's in
It's a
safe.
tricky green.
And I was a bit lucky that the gate was there, because the OB stops at that gate there, so I landed in bounds, thankfully.
Austin looks like he may have slid past into that area you just mentioned, unfortunately.
And that was my first, I think, inside circle putt for the day, so...
Yeah, it was the first real tester. Blake cashes in a double. Taking the part.
Yeah, this hole seemed to play pretty hard in the MPO field. It's probably one of the top 5 hardest holes over the day.
Yeah, I think the stats definitely supported that, and I think it's such a tempting straight shot down that road that everybody I saw went for it. As we move on to hole 5, we've got 86 metres, we've got 282 feet in the old terminology, where, look, it's a straight blue line on here, but it's anything but. There's a few nice tree gaps that will let you through to the green if you're good enough. There's OB to the left, but it shouldn't really come into play unless you get a very bad tree kick. As we see Paul stepping up first. Takes the right-hand gap. Tree there. Not happy with that one.
No, I think that one hit a tree in the middle somewhere.
And Aussie looks like he's hit a tree wide left as well, taking the forehand line. Blake with a raptor.
Not happy with that one.
He wasn't happy with that either. Lovely approach for Sarah there.
Thank you.
Just sliding it up. It's got a little way past the basket there. Behind.
Not happy with that one.
Yeah. The trees come up really fast behind the basket here, so that touch approach is key.
Yeah, with the slope going down into the trees as well, doesn't help.
Well, you can see our catch cam there hiding in the trees just behind the basket. He's,
oh yeah? Who's that on the catch cam?
I was trying to retain a note of anonymity. Oh!
Yeah, bad spit out there for Austin.
tapping in to cap off a pretty well played hole. Austin takes his bogey and Paul made sure of the par for a well played hole as well.
Hole 6. This is a par 4, 169 meters. There's a couple of ways you can attack this hole. So you can either go for a forehand or a turnover backhand and try and finish right around that clump of trees on the right there. Or if you got the distance, just push one straight and then try and go for a bit of a forehand over the OB towards the basket. So the OB comes in quite close to the basket, probably within 6-7 meters. So a bit of a risky shot when you're going towards the basket.
Absolutely, it's the tee shot's not the key here, is it? It's the second shot, it's the approach into the green. As Paul throws underneath that ladder down there, himself a nice closer in.
So just going for a nice turnover.
Just getting into position. Blake looks
He's
like
just
he's
going for that straight shot, yeah.
He flies, and there's the OB. We talk about it, unfortunately, he's found it.
He's done a huge forehand.
Yeah, big forehand, not happy with it.
Yes, that one just came out at a bit too much of an Annie angle. It just pushes dead straight into the OB.
What was that you threw?
That was my orbit grace. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's all good. It happens.
Not behaving itself. Paul flies us in. Wow,
Perfect
that's just how
upshot
you do
there.
it, isn't it? Austin as well. This is beautiful. Showing a nice part. Blake playing from his OB position. Punches onto the green and crosses his fingers. It stayed there. No harm in giving it a run from that OB position there. Oh!
That's rough.
What is this?
And another one.
Is this happening? I wouldn't want to be the next person. I wouldn't want to be the next one.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be Blake.
I would use my full 30 seconds putting after those two unlucky spit outs, but Blake.
Yeah.
Full exuberance,
I mean,
just puts
you
it
look at
straight
Paul's
in.
and it's like a little bit to the left, so you're like, oh yeah, maybe, but Austin's was just dead center.
It's, yeah, you hate to see it. Well, that hole's over, and we move on to hole 7, which is 83 metres. You'll find most players taking a forehand here. It's a relatively straightforward forehand onto the green to try and give yourself a birdie look. You've got a couple of trees in the way to navigate, or there is a nice line for a turnover backhand here. But yeah, proud to say one of my only birdies of the weekend, Sarah, this hole. Wasn't
nice
particularly
work.
well played. Yeah. Paul stepping up, taking that forehand line.
You see the wind's pretty gusty when we get up to this hole. But he gets a lot of ground play on that.
I think we saw a massive skip just before we switched to catch cam, and it's got him all the way up there. So after that spit out on the last hole, and good luck to him.
Hopefully he doesn't play on his mind too much.
Yeah. Austin taking that line.
Stays in the basket.
Putting it up nice and close. I think the disc was behind the score panel there. about where I put it every day. So probably doesn't
Still
make me
catch
feel
the
any
birdie
better
from here,
about
though?
it. I did. This was one of the spots I got the birdie
Nice.
from. Yeah, just nicely laying it up
Oh, if you want to call it laying up. I was probably running it.
there. It was, babe. Thanks for taking it as Blake plays from the rough there.
Yeah.
Just a little low, possibly wind. All to catch this birdie. Oh.
And another spit out. Not happy with that one.
And that was low right, which, you know, for me, that's where I'm looking to put it. Is low right. Austin catches the birdie. A lovely par.
Easy par. On to hole 8, par 4, 236 meters. So we've got OB all the way down the left, so it cuts in a bit to the right, probably a bit more than what that graphic's showing, and then you've got the OB along the path on the right-hand side. So first shot off the tee, you really just want to get it down as far as you can, and then the upshot again, the OB comes pretty close to the basket, probably within 5-6 meters just behind it. So yeah, a bit of a touchy upshot.
Yeah, it's the story of this hole, isn't it? It's Austin. Looks like so he's just fading left, and he manages to stay in bounds, I think, there.
Yeah, I think it's boosted it down there.
Ball just coming, just sliding up there, middle of the fairway. What I found on this hole, and what I saw from a lot of players, was you could play a beautiful shot straight down the centre, but it's the ground play that as it fades back to the left, as Blake does something massive with his nuke there, and puts it in a beautiful position. Turned around catch cam, we get our reverse park. That's his but it's Huck Labs disc. He's drawn it on in Texter, I'm told. He calls it his Cloudbreaker 4 prototype, I believe. But that's a beautiful shot. He's gone past
anything
the red
past
tee
that basket, that's a good shot.
Anything past that basket is probably Blake. Yeah.
And I follow it up with this little shank into the OB.
Trusting that grace again.
Yeah, really just want to get that as far down as I can, because went out pretty early there.
Beautiful, that's setting up for a nice little approach there. Ball from a lovely spot. It's actually pushed up further than it looked. And check up, but I think he may have pushed OB.
Oh, what a shot.
Great shot.
I think our cameraman liked it, I think. Austin.
And then Blake, that was actually that was a blind shot from Blake as well. He after he threw that, he came up to us like, "Oh, where did it finish?" And we're like, 5 feet from the basket.
I feel like Blake does that a lot, as you are safe there. Beautiful.
Yes.
Blake does that a lot because he throws it so far. He's often asking me or having the cameraman radio me to find out where his discs ended up because he can't see it.
All right, what a good problem to have.
I know, right? How did he survive without cameramen and walkie-talkies on his card? It's Austin with a long birdie look that he's
massive putt.
Where's that thing?
And the strut into the basket's just got a bit more spring into the step, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Flirting with that OB there.
Oh, yeah, it was almost touching that line.
Waiting for a bogey.
Salvage the bogey.
Thing, it's a pretty straightforward hole. It's a couple of straight shots and
Almost got done again. Far out.
And he gives the basket some love. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward hole when you put it on paper, but it's anything but in practice. And Blake with an absolutely textbook birdie there. As we look at par 9, hole 9 rather, another left to right hole. We've got a ditch. You can probably see the darker green on the left there. It's a gully, and the green sort of up on a little, you'd say peninsula or island or raised section at the back there. So you've got some trees to navigate, but what you want to do is get round with a nice turnover or forehand for a right-hand player and hit that green. First is
Shot.
Where's that gone?
Yeah, that's sick, man.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, it's probably 3 or 4 metres away. Catch cam I might have heard there, just thanking his lucky stars he recorded. Blake, oh! Who's that? Kyle, can we get a reverse park on that?
Cut though.
Thank you, Kyle.
Oh, there we go.
So I think he hits the flag as he comes past. Yeah, it skips up and oh!
Far
You
out.
can hear the sound. Wow. So
You wouldn't have had a clue from the tee either.
well, no, that's it. You can see the view here. You've got no visibility of the tee. You've just got to hope. Paul putting it into that nice left there, and the hands on the head aren't great.
Yep. Yeah. That one's just not trusting the disc, putting a bit too much honey on it, and just ended up in the trees on the right.
Out in the
So,
fair.
yeah, had absolutely nothing there, so I was just trying to hit a gap.
Paul just sliding it up there under the basket and yourself doing the
Straight
same.
up.
Blake for his second after hitting the flag for one.
See if we can cash this one in.
Oh.
Might have just slipped out of the hand a bit there. A bit of a roll. It's just lucky that was a fairly flat green from memory.
Yeah, that was. I think it was just the angle it hit the post.
Paul baskets his friend on this hole for a par. Austin with a lovely birdie.
I was expecting me to spit out there. Don't see people reacting like that very often to a birdie putt.
Yeah, it must have been bobbling around from his angle. As we head into the back nine, Blake's fought his way down to even there with a pretty cleanish front nine. Austin at +1, Paul at +3, and yourself, Sarah, at +6. So Sarah and myself will be back. Check out the back nine coverage of round 1 on Parked Media. Thanks, Sarah. This has been fun.
No worries. See you soon.
All right, we'll see you soon.